Welcome to YubaNet Local Picks. I'm your host, Elisa Parker. It is a privilege and honor to introduce my guests today. They're beloved in our community and also worldwide. I'm talking about the legendary master slide guitarist, Roy Rogers. Roy has over 20 recordings, a new one coming out, and he has 8 Grammy nominations. Roy is performing at the Center for the Arts this Saturday, May 23rd. The show's at 7 p.m. Roy is joined by his incredible wife, Gaynell. Gaynell has been working in the entertainment industry and management for over 30 years. Gaynell has a new cookbook that just came out, ties in really incredible stories. We're going to hear more about that. But first, Roy, you have a new album out. Your new album, is it called The Sky's the Limit?
Yes, the sky's the limit. Uh, at this stage of the game, that's what we're going for, right? Give it your best shot, and the sky's the limit. Period. That's the way I feel about it.
No, I love that. And your lovely wife, Gaynell, queen of publicity and of so many other things. Gaynell's also joining us today. And Gaynell, you have your debut cookbook. It's almost released. Is that right?
Released. It came out February 27th. Cookbook's called Gaynell's Kitchen, Down Home Cooking from A Wayward Southern Belle, because I'm from New Orleans and I got lucky and married a Californian. And it's a memoir and a cookbook. So it's stories of a life in music and film, cancer and cannabis. And it took me 20 years and 4 cancers to get it done. And I'm super happy about it. And it's just getting great reviews. And it's super fun to do it with Roy in
Told me
tandem.
She had to keep the title "Down Home Cooking from a Wayward Southern Belle." I said she had to keep that title for sure.
And wayward I am.
A wayward, 100%. I mean, you have both of you in the life that you've lived thus far. You have so many extraordinary experiences that your journey has taken you on. And I love, Gaynell, how you've captured some of your favorite experiences and stories and people that you've met and coupled that with your favorite Southern meals. I'm sure this is something that you've been thinking of creating for years.
It is. I started it in 2005 in cooking school at the College of Culinary Arts and Nutrition in Sonoma. I started it in 2005 in cooking school.
Roy, what is your favorite dish? What is your favorite go-to dish that's featured in this cookbook, I must add?
No, it's a toss up between her jambalaya and red beans and rice. That's the deal. But the story. So that's as far as the recipe. But as far as the story, we had this great meal that she described so wonderfully. That with Bonnie Raitt and Taj Mahal, and was Maria there?
No, Charlie and
Charlie and Maria.
yeah, no, Maria wasn't at that
Maria
one. She's
wasn't
been
there.
at a few others, but it was
Yeah.
Roy and I, Charlie and Henry Musselwhite,
And
Taj Mahal, and Bonnie.
and
And
she
great.
she cooked this great meal, and it was just the way she described it really was. It's just a fun read, you know.
It's like
and,
leave your Taj Mahal, Bonnie Raitt, Musselwhite at the door,
yeah,
and just come and have a really
have a
nice
good
meal and
time.
enjoy our home. They're all good friends. We've known them for decades.
Yeah, we've
And
known them a long time.
it was just one of those special evenings where it went on and on and on. And Roy has 2 beautiful vintage 78 jukeboxes. He collects 78 records. And they had never heard, was it Howlin' Wolf?
Yeah, Howlin' Wolf 44.
They had never heard a Howlin' Wolf 78 record on a 78 jukebox. And both Bonnie and Taj fell to the floor in front of the speakers because it was so, they used to hang one mic in a wooden room and
So
that was it. And it's so raw and authentic through the jukebox speakers. It was really a
It was
moment.
fun.
And we were all laughing so hard.
We had a
and-
good time.
Yeah, we had a great
I
time.
know music and food, as you certainly know, go so well together. And when you talk about New Orleans, of course, I mean,
And I was born in New Orleans. So
it can be food, music,
not my
food. Whatever comes first is whatever your pleasure, and so that epitomized in the book for me what it was all about. She's got such great stories, and she did a very good job writing about it.
I love that, Roy. And it is true, food and music, they both create, I often say, like, the deeper connections that activate our soul, like the heart, right? And food and music are certainly two of the key parts that do that. And also, as you said, gathering around the table and food and the stories that come not from just at the table, but also what we remember for years to come, right? When I think about grandparents, often food comes to mind.
It's all about, honestly, making memories, not to sound too corny, but it is. And all of those people, decades later, are part of our global family because of some of those meals. It's super important.
Roy, so what an extraordinary journey you've been on thus far. I have to ask you too. So I was listening to He's a Legend in His Own Mind. I'm switching gears a little bit. I know you're both also politically involved,
Well,
but
it's
is that who I think it is? Is that about who I think it is? Or tell me about that.
no question. It's who you think it is. It's based on that. We live in strange political times, and to make a statement, um, there are many ways to make a statement about it. But for me, I wanted to humorously or inject, I should say, humor into a song that 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 has a bite to it, you know. And that's always those kinds of songs have always impressed me. Like I could like Mose Allison, you know, your mind is on vacation, or like the great Dan Hicks song, how can I miss you when you won't go away, kind of stuff. So he's a legend, and then in parentheses, in his own mind. We have a we unfortunately have a leader that is been given so much leeway and tolerance of really bad stuff. It's just unbelievable. Whatever your political preference, period. It's just strange in a way that we've never seen. And having grown up in the '60s, and against the Vietnam War and all that kind of stuff, that uh, uh, I just never thought we'd find ourselves in a situation where people are questioning this Constitution, just in a general sense. So yes, he's a legend in his own mind. When you have an ego that big, um, it's in your own mind that you can do anything you want, and so that's where it's based on. Absolutely,
And
and
it's fun and it's a rocker. So it's done with a
Yeah.
light hand. Roy
yeah,
has a really good sense of
I
humor.
don't, I don't, I you know, it's one thing to have some, to be angry and do that in a song, and I respect that. But I didn't want to do a song um, about that subject and not have it be humorous with a bite. I think you can reach more people that way. That's frankly
Yeah.
why. He's a legend in his own mind. He's a legend in his own mind. Such a small man for the big time. He's a strong persuader. Just follow that leader. We've seen his kind before. He's just a repeater. He needs your attention each and every day. He lies when he wants to. Let the truth get in the way. You're going to be playing in, I call it now, your hometown. I know you're from all over California and the Bay Area, but especially now that you're in Nevada County. How long have you lived in Nevada County, by the way? How many years?
18th year.
Our 18th year.
18th year. Okay.
It's, yeah, 18 years, and it's time flies by when you're having fun. We have some great friends here. We have great neighbors. So it's a wonderful place to live, as you know, as long as the winters aren't too bad.
But it's also wonderful as much as we travel. We certainly have cut down on travel post COVID, but as much as we travel, I would come down that 49 stretch and get on 20, because we live outside of town. And it just felt like I'm in my driveway.
And this is such a music, as you well know, there's
Cultural.
a lot of music happening in this county. A lot of good musicians, and there's just a scene here. I only play here once a year because I'm on the road often, although I'm not as much as before. But I don't play a lot locally. I play once a year at the Center for the Arts, and that's where I've kept it. And otherwise, I'm out and about, Northwest, so forth, wherever. But it's it's a wonderful scene here. It's just a wonderful place to live.
Yes, 100%. What's your favorite place to bring people to when they come and visit? And have you had some of your more some of the other legendary musicians come up and visit you guys there? Yeah.
I love it. Yeah,
One place we love to bring people is Ananda when they have the tulips. In fact, we just went there.
we just went there for our anniversary.
That was just it's just an amazing place to go. We both love
So
flowers,
unique in the world too.
and I love the tulips. If your listeners haven't gone there, just check it out. When the
It's
tulips,
always pretty, even if it's not the tulip show. We like to take people to the National and show off
yeah,
what
the
they've done
National's
with
good.
that hotel. We've had lots of friends stay there. Lola's a great restaurant. We have a lot. I think we have a lot of great restaurants in Grass Valley and Nevada City now, as well as during COVID, we had all those young families move up and open bakeries and cool clothes shops. And so we walked the town. Our kids were up for Mother's Day and they did 2 hours of shopping on the street with our granddaughter and they just had a blast.
Plus, the city celebrations, in both Grass Valley and Nevada City. I mean, come on, New Orleans, Mardi Gras,
So we do
Constitution.
staycations. Like we'll go get a room at the Holbrook or we'll go get a room
What
at
do they call it?
at
One
the
where the
National and
presidents
enjoy the downtown scene.
presidents stay
Oh, the
in.
president of our favorites.
Yes. Did Chad and I have been emceeing the Mardi Gras parade the last couple of years.
Oh, I did not know
We
that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you catch the last? Have you been at them recently?
He was on the road.
I was in-
I went by myself and got some beads and took a lot of pictures and had a blast. I almost would put my Mardi Gras. I have a gown, but I didn't. I just went and enjoyed it.
Gaynell, next time, yeah, come up to the balcony and visit us up there.
Right.
We've done it, I think, at least three years now, and then the Earls play too. But yeah,
How
it is
fun.
it's a beautiful community in that way. I want to ask you too as well. I mean, I love live music. We go to so many shows. It's like my favorite thing in the world is live music. And like you said, the community and the joy that that brings for us. And it's so necessary right now. And so I'm so grateful for both of you and bringing your own creative projects and joy to share with us. So many legendary musicians. And I think we're all getting older.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen now? Do you think about that? Do you think about that, Roy and Gaynell? Like, what's next? Because I watch some of the music now and I'm like, oh, it's so overly produced. And where's the orchestration and the heart and soul in this? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. I get asked a lot about, what do you think of quote new music or current music? My answer is as follows. Every generation has to do the music in their own way, whether it's always been that way too. Um, and whether it's electronic or rap music or jazz music or whatever, however you want to define it, that's the way that should be for that generation. That doesn't mean the previous generation has to like it necessarily, but you have to respect that everyone has to do their own thing musically. And you can go back a long ways. You know, not being a music historian, but 20s, 30s, 40s, the whole thing and then into the 50s and the whole after World War II and R&B coming on, the big bands couldn't get any work. Yeah, rock and roll came on the scene, and then all of a sudden the youth generation, and then up to the present, talk about the electronics. I think the thing for me is, as we're referring to here, it's a collective experience, and I think you know we are older. They call me a legacy artist. Why? That's because I'm 75 years old. That's why. So,
But you're also a master slide guitarist too. Let's just put that out there.
but like I'm not. I'm so.
We
But
refuse to act
but
like old
playing,
people.
you got to go for it. I mean, so when I'm playing it, I'm not resting on my laurels at all. Period. I'm still pushing the envelope. And pushing the envelope involves playing live in front of people. You can incorporate electronic stuff, I suppose, if you're of a certain ilk, but I don't do that. Um, and look at the whole Grateful Dead scene. I mean, I played with some of those guys. I opened up shows ages ago for
Sure.
Jerry Garcia Band. I knew, not to mention names, but I mean, it's the collective experience, which was that was about. Yeah, it wasn't my favorite kind of music to play because I'm not a jam band kind of guy. But nevertheless, it's based on the same kind of stuff that we all have listened to. And again, the emphasis is that people need to get, when you're in a crowd and not listening to something online or something, or it's different when you have people and you have a hot sweaty crowd and they're into it. There's nothing better. And I don't think that will be lost. However, people have to understand that that's part of what we're talking about here, and we can relate that to food in the same manner as about reading around a table. If you have your friends or we have you over for dinner, I relate to it the same way. Um, and with tongue in cheek, often I end my shows in that say, "Thank you all for coming." Pause. I hope the next time that you see me, I'm not a hologram. Is that gonna happen? It won't be me, but anyway, you see my point. I mean, it's
Yes. Right.
true.
Right.
It's really that simple. And don't. First of all, just try to make it real. Of course, I'm in a roots-oriented bag, so but whatever musical bag you're in, make it real. People always respond accordingly.
In your book, Gaynell's Kitchen, Down Home Cooking from A Wayward Southern Belle, I love the stories of some of your favorite friends and people, musicians, people will know. Taj Mahal, who played out here recently,
Yeah.
actually in Brooklyn. I mean, Roy, you guys are kind of youngsters compared to Ramblin'
Elliot.
Jack Elliott. We saw him actually out here, and he was still going. But I mean, isn't he like 95?
He's
He'll be 95 August.
in August,
And
3 days after.
Okay,
just spent an afternoon with him. We went down.
Yeah,
Roy had a Santa Cruz gig, and were able to sit with Jack. And
he's a delight.
he is delightful. And the reason why I did that story, which is called Cowboys, Wooden Boats, and Sailing Ships, is because Jack. I mean, I worked with Jack as a manager for a long time. Um, Met him. Roy and Jack were cast in a movie as hobos, and that's how we met him years and years ago. And I've taken him to Newport many times. Did Madison Square Garden with Pete Seeger and 90th birthday for his Clearwater benefit. He has affected so many current modern musicians for such a long time. Steve Earle, one of a big fan, Bruce Springsteen, they all cite him as an influence because of his storytelling, his humor, but also just the life that he led, running away, being a hobo with Woody Guthrie, writing songs with Johnny Cash. Who does that? I think he is one of the most treasured musicians of our time, in my view. The stories that he tells are always funny and from a lens that will not happen again in our lifetime. He
right.
grew up a seeker. Who does that?
I tell
Yeah,
people that we've had the pleasure of being good friends with Grandma Jack Elliott, and I've had the pleasure of producing Grandma Jack Elliott and John
And
Lee
John Lee
Hooker,
Hooker.
and
Yeah.
and you can't get having the privilege of producing artists like that who are already legends way before I met them. But it brings to mind how certainly from my standpoint, you go for it. Why? You're inspired by people like that you've met. We're all inspired by people. It could be anybody,
Look at
but
the Rolling Stones. They're releasing a new record. Look
right.
at
It's
Paul.
amazing. It's amazing. But it brings up a good point too. I mean, you talk about that in the book. Was it Roy, that meeting Johnny Lee Hooker back what was it, in North Beach in San Francisco?
uh, uh,
Um
where'd I meet him?
yeah, what's the corner bar there? It's still going. That bar is still going. They have blues.
North Beach. Yeah. No, I didn't bring John Lee Hooker there
There.
though. Um, but the the guy that was playing in my band there was playing off and on with John Lee Hooker, and I met him
Mm.
later. So, and then
Yeah.
that's how, and then eventually produced his records
But
there.
when we met John, he was living under the radar. Nobody knew that he was in the East Bay. I started cooking for him right away. Like, one of my favorite pictures in the book is John holding a piece of my peach cobbler on in his story. He loved my cooking, and we had many birthday parties at our apartments and house as he was touring with him. And then the whole project came together with his management company, Rosebud, and we had this extraordinary experience of doing The Healer, which was the first breakout record for John. No, and every label in the world passed on that record. And it
Mm.
had Carlos Santana and Robert Cray and Keith Richards and all
Bonnie
kinds
Raitt.
of Bonnie Raitt, all kinds of people on it. Nobody would take it. This tiny little label called Chameleon took it and worked it and worked it and worked it with his management company and us and all kinds of people trying globally. And that record went gold in several countries, and it was the first blues record to do so for a very long time, and brought John back into prominence, and rightly so.
Also, as you speak of that, and so many people we do consider legends, it makes me wonder too, both Gaynell and Roy, just, who you're inspiring now. And as you speak of the stories with Jack and John, and you're at that space in your life where there are going to be other people who are inspired and have been from the work
And,
that both of you have done, right?
well, hopefully it shows up that they're inspired by uh, our staggering longevity in both of these industries, but also for,
Yes.
as a surviving cancer patient, I do a lot of mentoring of young uh, PR companies that are entering into a very um, simmering journalistic environment now. And, most of the media that you see is paid sponsored media. And they're, to do a pitch like I used to do on the phone for the cannabis industry from 2009 through 2019. I'd call up my pals at NPR, the Times, or whatever, because I worked with all those people for years. And the assignment editor would pick up the phone and go, "Hey, Joe, it's that pot lady from California again. Do we want to write this?" You know, like that. And and I just kept calling, and I scored the first New York Times cover story for the cannabis industry ever, and it was just she persists. So you pick your moments, you persist, you take rejection as not a personal anything. It's just like you just have to believe.
What can everyone expect on Saturday, May 23rd at the show at the Center for the Arts?
Bring your dancing shoes. If we're in, the performers, it's always a back and forth situation. The performers are inspired by the audience as well as the audience, appreciating the performers but it's about that. I love seeing people participating. Um, we're always pushing it. The trio is a power trio. So, uh, Kevin Hayes on drums, Steve Ehrman, who's been with me for years. Uh, it's a power trio, and we're going for it. So it's a little bit of old and new, always from me. I bring a plethora of guitars because I like changing up.
It's so much fun to play locally because
So
we get to bring
I
more
get,
toys.
yeah, I don't bring them all on
Yes.
people when I'm traveling because it's too much of a hassle, and we travel light. When I play local shows, I bring far more guitars than I normally. So for all you guitars out there, 12-string dobro kind of thing. It as well as a amplified Martin, and anyway, I have a lot of fun. Locally bringing a lot more instruments that I can on the road. So, but I was going to say, as far as inspiration, if I inspire anybody, it would be hopefully, you know, to do your own thing. That's what you have. It's kind of like you read the book or you go to school, and then you let that all go and you do your thing and you apply it however you apply it. You don't want to do it like somebody else did it necessarily. Sure, it's based on a lot of different things, but that's what it's. If you want to be more traditional about it, cool if you want to push the envelope. And in my case, that's why I play with a lot of different people, because I like the fact that you could do that. And if that's inspiring to someone, so be it. But you got to do your own thing. Don't try to imitate someone else too much. You can start with that, but have the confidence in what you can do, because you never know where that's going to end up. Period.
I love that. Real quick, my last question is, okay, this is tied in the music and the cookbook. What's the secret sauce for both of you? Because you've been together for so long and showing up in the same realm. I mean, that's it's a whole thing when you're working with each other and supporting each other to be the best. What's the secret sauce?
Ladies first.
Uh, I'm in awe sometimes at who I'm married to. I really respect what he has done. So it's respect and admiration and collaboration. We've been married for 42 years, and we've had just a lot of joy, and our kids are so sturdy, and our family system's been so supportive. Not at the beginning. My mom wouldn't talk to me for 2 years, but I said, I'm gonna marry this guy, Roy Rogers, and he's a blues musician and a monster slide guitarist. And she's like, really?
You're in trouble. You're in
You're
trouble.
in trouble. You're in trouble. But if we're, she finally came around. But it's honestly, it's mutual respect, admiration, and an open lens to listen to uh, their point of view.
I say
Mm.
ditto. Ditto, like they say in the movie. It's the mutual respect, but also and listening. But you have to have fun. There's the world is too damn serious to not have fun with the people you're with. You have to learn to do that, and I like to see people smiling, and you have to make time to do that, and that comes with a respect. But you have to have fun, and I feel that people. Jack Elliott, we could say, perfect example. The guy has had fun, and that's why he's one of the reasons he's so beloved, not just by what he's done, but by the relationships he's had with people and having that fun. Um, so I say that's an important aspect. And if you find that you're looking in the mirror and you're not smiling so much, then have more fun.
And keep your
Right.
sense of humor. Humor is really important
Yeah, really.
all along the way. And I'll tell my one Southern joke that's been a hit at photo shoots for 30 years. Why don't Southern girls do group sex?
Why not? Why don't they?
Too many thank you notes.
Oh my God.
It always
Someone,
works. He always loves telling that.
you are both so cherished in the
Thank
world, but especially in our community. Thank you so much to both of you. I appreciate you. And we're so grateful that you're part of our wonderful community.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.